Hey guys, here we are for another week, and we've been talking about how do we show up to our groups? What is the best practices that I've come into connection with that really help the groups go deeper, but then also help the groups connect in a safe environment? And so last week we started with group responses, right? That's the whole theme of these weeks here. How do we respond to heavy emotions? How do we respond when somebody checks in really heavy? And we started all that discussion with how do you do check-in? What am I talking about when I talk about check-in? So if you missed that episode, please just pause this, whether you're on video, whether you're in audio, pause this one and go back 1 week, okay? You're really gonna want that because this isn't not gonna make sense. And just as a disclaimer, and I talked about this last week, please do not just run out and start practicing this. Even if you're a counselor and you're licensed or certified or what have you, here's the thing. I'm glad you know a lot. I really am. But the best illustration that I used last week is it's like a doctor that learns and reads a bunch of great stuff and then turns around and does a surgery on a patient. We don't have that happen because we expect that doctor to practice a lot before he opens up a real human body. At least my human body. Like, you can have that doctor if you want it. That's awesome. He ain't touching me. Okay, that's all I have to say. As a facilitator or leader of a group, you are carrying those people in your area. You want that to be a safe place. So here's the thing. If you are not in a group right now where you feel safe to receive, where you are learning, where you are in a community of practice, don't do this. Don't offer this to somebody else. You cannot offer what you yourself have not experienced. And so, yeah, this is kind of a shameless plug, I guess, for Step Out and Thrive, because I would love to have you guys in one of my groups because I know what these tools and resources and is experiencing this can do because it can literally change lives. So if you're not connected, I mentioned a couple groups besides Step Out and Thrive in the last podcast, but we would love to have you connected in one of our Step Out and Thrive groups. So you can go to BethanyBoyne.com and you can see some of the free and some of the paid groups that we have right now and get connected and get into communities of practice like this. Now, how do we do this? We're in a group setting and we have somebody that has checked in heavy and they're sad and they're feeling it. And when you're in a group like that, and you even a conversation like that, where you're with somebody where you know they're hurting, and they're because so you created a safe place for them to even share, or maybe they're so desperate at this moment, they haven't been seen, they haven't been heard, they haven't been connected with, that they're kind of just almost verbally puking, so to speak. And this happens a lot in the counseling office or even one-on-one coaching, where somebody's just feeling safe for the first time and they just go, what? How do you just be with that person? Well, these tools and resources that I'm about to share over the next couple episodes, and I'm going to share one at a time, was first introduced to me by Luke 10. I also know that there's a lot of brain science research that is associated with that, so you can research it, but these choices go really along with the brain science and how the brain works and how people can respond. And here's the thing, with each of these choices, the facilitator or the group coach or the counselor, whoever is facilitating this group, they ask the group, okay? They ask the person how the group can respond to them, and they offer they offer all of these options. And then the person themselves gets to choose which one of these options. Now, they can't choose all of them. Okay, I put that out there to the group. We would love to be with you for the next week, but we can't. We don't have that much time. So this takes a lot of training to really facilitate or coach or lead groups like this, because you have to have that time component. You have to make sure that each person is feeling seen or heard and have time to be able to do that. You have to pay attention to the group dynamics. You have to make sure the safety is there. There's a lot that goes into this, whether it's on Zoom or in person. So that's another reason I don't want people to just run out and do this, okay? This is, however, something you can practice with your kids, practice with your spouse, have a constant person that you're checking in with on a daily basis and practicing interactive appreciation with. So the first one, number uno, choice that we give to people is, drum roll. Sorry, that was the worst drum roll. And I'm a drummer. I'm sorry, you all. I don't have sound effects. Just go with it. The first choice that we give people is, as a group, we can just be with you. As a group, we can just be with you. And some people out there going, well, that's awesome. That, yay, what a great choice, right? That's all you got? Okay. But let's stop for a second and let's really just realize what that can mean. That can mean so many different things to people. Okay. When was the last person, or when was the last time you really felt seen or heard and understood by somebody? And what did they do? I did a podcast a couple weeks ago. I think it was late last year, where I said one of the most transformational sessions that I ever had with a friend was me sharing after having a panic attack and this friend just sitting with me. This friend barely said nothing the whole time. And that was transformational because that's the first time I really felt like anybody was with me. And there's really hard moments. So sometimes it's just asking curious questions with that person, like, wow, you checked in as sad and you asked us to be with you. So can you explain to us, what does sadness feel like in your body? So you can start out, hey, what is your face doing? Okay, that's what sadness feels like. And you feel that heat in your face. Wow. And your eyes are drooping. What's happening in your throat? It's getting tight. You feel like you're trying to swallow a ball. What about your shoulders? They're drooping. You kind of feel like you want to run and hide. So as they're telling this, the group is kind of going inside themselves and kind of feeling like what that would feel like. With kids, when I'm doing this with kids, I have one kid explain and how that would feel, and then the other kids just hold that pose for a minute. And that's how they're with the other person. And it's amazing how some of these kids will explain these emotions in ways that I would have never thought. And plus, they can act it. They practice this in improv, guys. This is professional improvisation realities because they don't learn just by themselves. They learn by being with other people. And so when people check in as sad or angry or even excited, when you can be with them in that, even the quote positive emotions or lighter emotions, however you want to word that, you could be with people, you can offer the same options even for the positive emotions or the lighter emotions, excited, happy, even tender. Okay, you can offer this for that too. So being with somebody, you can either A, how does that feel like in your body, and allow the group the time, whether it's adults or kids, to either sit with that or act that, like stand in a pose where you're acting that out. Okay, with kids. You can also just spend a moment in silence. And no, I did not push pause on the recording. I just wanted you guys to feel a little bit what that's like. Sometimes we've never allowed to be in the presence of other people in silence. We don't know how to handle that. And for some people, that's a huge way of just being with them. Sometimes it's just asking curious questions. And not, again, you're not trying to get them to admit something. You're not trying to get them to a certain place. You're just trying to help be with them. So you can even say, hey, if they take the choice, yes, I would love for you guys to be with me and just be with me in that way. Okay, well, we can, continue going through like to the next person because sometimes that they just wanted to talk. That could be being with somebody too. Just or hey, we can just be silent with you. You can tell us how this feels in your body and we can sit with that with ourselves. So sometimes you'll even have more options to offer that person because being with can look different for other people, right? And so some people, again, the first time I did this and I checked in as it was a heavier emotion and they gave me those choices, I'm like, I'm good. And they're like, so how can we best be with you today? We can just be with you. I'm like, yeah, that's it. You guys were already with me. That's awesome. Like I was done. I didn't want to ask curious questions. I didn't want them to be still and feel. And I wasn't to that level yet. I just wanted to be out of the light. And so that's fine too. Listen to what the person is saying and respond accordingly. So hopefully this has, I mean, just in the whole just be with me, that is a valid option. I hope you hear that. That is a valid option. And I want you to know, as a facilitator, but also as a group member, you may find something else rise up in you and go, no, this person needs prayer. No, we need to listen to Jesus with this person. No, I have a story. I have a piece of advice. And I challenge you at that moment to stop and get curious about what's going on inside of you. Because again, it is not your job in this setting to fix anyone. You can't. We can't. Okay. But what we can is go inside of ourselves and go, okay, God, there's something in me that is not okay with how this is going right now. Can you talk to me about that, God? Can you show me what's going on? Or you can even say, hey, okay, this does not feel good. And I need to process this later because I am not on the hot seat right now. My friend is, and I want to be with my friend in the best way that I know how. So I am going to allow myself time to process this later. And I'm going to step aside. And so that's something that's processed too. And sometimes, even as a facilitator, some of the best sessions I've had is for somebody to to check in like that and they're done. They want to go on to the next person. And then I'll have other people almost speak out. No, can I just pray? Can I just, no. But let's take a minute and let's get curious about what's going on inside right now. I can tell you, I had two amazing moments when that happened in a group setting, and we pivoted and we spent some time with those group members. And you guys, it was life changing because it allowed the person that was receiving care from the group to say, no, like this really helped me just saying it. And it made me feel lighter and it really helped me. And they're going, wait, that really did? Like I didn't have to do my story or I didn't have to share that prayer with you. Like I could really do, and that helped. So for the first time they're hearing that, they're going, wow. So they're finding different ways to be with people too. So I want you guys to hear that and be aware. And that's part of the facilitator role too. So again, when you're practicing this with like one other person and they say, hey, yeah, I just need you to be with me. Well, what would that look like for you? I can ask you curious questions. We can sit here in silence. I can ask how that's feeling in your body and try to understand. And maybe we even sit in silence for a little bit. Give them more options and practice that with each other. And then not only that, feel like what feels good for you. And you don't have to choose the same option every time. Really go and think of what would feel good to me right now and experiment with some of those options and experiment like how to offer them, but also how to receive because it has to go both ways. You have to experience both. I hope this was a lot for you to chew on. I hope this is challenging for you. I hope this is exciting for you. And I hope this is helping you look at groups in a whole new way. And again, if you're going, okay, Bethany, I want to experience that, check out the BethanyBoring.com splash page, see what groups are coming up. If there's not a group open, there will be a group open coming up soon. And I would love to have you in our group. So looking forward to hearing the stories. And if you are practicing, let me know how that's going. Let me know how that's going. And you should only be practicing with one person, but let me know how that's going. I would love to hear from you. So thanks a lot and look forward to seeing you guys next week.